back doing warm-ups. Make sure you put Monday, so on the front, the first 3 warm-ups are easy. Monday, put star prep. Tuesday, put star. Wednesday, put Fiesta Trivia. That was yesterday, right? So make sure you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Now, y'all know I can do impressions. But
I'll bring them by just to show you.
But you gotta be here first 5 minutes. Just saying. All right, well, check this out. This last unit, okay, we got what, 3 weeks or something, 3 more weeks. Then we're gonna do review and final. So this last little section, we're gonna gear up for next year, kind of. Hopefully you're taking geometry next year. If you're taking algebraic reasoning, that's fine, whatever. Okay. But we're gonna try to build back up our skills. Now, leading up to the STAR test, we've been really focusing on Desmos, right? Yes. So here's the deal. We are now going to make sure we know how to do this stuff by hand, okay? So it's kind of like we're starting back over at the beginning of the year because I'm just making sure we got that foundation right, okay? So what are we doing today? I mean, technically we're going to start this stuff on Monday, but today and tomorrow I'm making sure you know how to do 1-step and 2-step equations, right? So, by the way, y'all see how stars won? Goldie. Anyways, now, do y'all see SpongeBob right here? In this little meme? I heard kids like memes, right? Super cool. So, what does it say here? No work, no credit. Does everyone know what this means? That if you do not show me the work, you will not get the credit, okay? So, just to make sure that this resonates in your brain, I'm going to tell you it in my SpongeBob voice.
No work, no credit.
That was good, right? All right, I can do another one. SpongeBob, no work, no credit. It's pretty good, right? Bob Esponja, right? What else? No work, no credit, SpongeBob. That's pretty good, right?
No work, no credit. Money.
All right. Now that you've heard it in most of the Bikini Bottom voices, does everyone understand that if you do not physically write the work on the paper, I will happily mark it wrong? So the answer isn't the important part. The work is the important part, okay? Now, before you start thinking you're clever, because I've been doing this for like way too long, right? Here's the excuses I've heard.
Mr. G, I did it in my brain.
I don't care. I want you to write it on paper because when there's more than one step, you got to be able to show each step. Does everyone understand what I'm saying? I know today's going to be very easy, 1-step equations, but guess what? Once we start doing more than 1 step, you got to build it all up, okay? But for some reason, people fight me on this, so I'm just preemptively telling you what you might think of telling me. Here's another one of my favorites.
Mr. G, I wrote all my work on a different piece of paper, but I threw it away.
No, you didn't. My friend, that's a lie. Okay?
Mr. G, I did it in my brain, but I forgot how to do it.
So here's what I don't want you to do. Okay, I don't want you to just use Desmos and squiggle. Like, I know we've learned that, but I'm telling you, we're putting that on the shelf. You're showing me you know this for realsies, okay? You're not using PhotoMath. You're not using the Goth app. You're not using ChatGPT. You're not using anything silly. You need to know these skills for the future for realsies. Have I made myself clear? Okay, I'm so SpongeBob serious, okay? Do you understand? Okay, well, enough of me preaching. Let's do some math here. So there are 4 operations in math, right? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. So you should be able to do each one of these steps 1 time and show your work so you can get some credit, right? Right, SpongeBob? Okay, well, first one, if I see x plus 3 equals 8, If I want to get x by itself, I need to get rid of plus 3, and we always do inverse operations, which means opposite. What's the opposite of plus 3? Minus 3, and if I do it on one side, I do it on the other side. I scratch the opposites out. I bring down the x, bring down the equals, and 8 minus 3 is 5. Now, if you need to use a calculator to do 8 minus 3, it is what it is. But I need you to show your work. Does everyone see how if you just put 5, that's not it? I got to see the work. That's the work. That's the credit. It's good. Now, number 2. If I have g not by itself, but if there's a minus 7, the opposite, plus 7, right? So plus 7 here, plus 7. It's always on both sides. Everyone writing this down? Scratch out the opposites. Bring down g equals, and 1 plus 7 is 8. I know this is simple, but we're practicing the simple to move on to the hard, right? You got to do level 1 before you can level up. You got to show your work to get the credit. Okay, number 3. Now this is one where people struggle. I know there's a minus sign in front of 2. I know you might think you should add 2, but this is not a situation when you add 2, okay? Here's why. A number in front of a letter, it's called a coefficient in front of a variable. What is implied, the invisible math in between -2 and y? Right here. Multiplication. In fact, that was day 1 in this class. Right here. We went over, okay, up here, 3y is the same thing as 3 times y, right? So in this situation, -2y means -2 times y. So what's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. Okay, so to get rid of this multiplying by -2, I have to divide by the exact same number, -2, on both sides. That's the trickiest one, in my opinion. Okay, when you have a negative coefficient, you still divide by that negative number. Okay, the numbers on the left, opposites cancel out. So now y equals -12 over -2. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Y equals 6. I showed my work, so Mr. G can mark it right. Okay, n divided by 7. What's the opposite of dividing by 7? Multiplying. So on the left, times 7. On the right, times 7. And then the 7 and the 7 on the left, scratch them out. They're opposites. N equals, now this is multiplying, not dividing. 21 times 7 is 147. Okay? All right, I've said enough. So what are you going to do to get your credit? Show your work. If not, you're just humoring me, and I will give it back to you with a no work, no credit stamp on it. I've said it. I've been clear. Let's just play ball. All right, let's work together. All right. Are you ready, kids?